Early 1944, Wright Field, Ohio. A test pilot pushed the engine beyond its limits.
Boost pressure climbed to 75 inches of mercury, fed by a new experimental fuel.
Grade 150 fuel, dyed purple.
At 25,000 feet, airspeed passing 448 miles per hour.
448 in the B model?
This was not an incremental improvement. This was a chemical revolution.
An advantage so profound, it would render obsolete every Luftwaffe assumption.
What the Luftwaffe didn't know: Allied chemists had achieved something the Third Reich could not match.
While Germany struggled with 91-octane synthetic fuel, America was producing fuel with a performance number of 150.
A P-51 Mustang running standard grade 130 fuel could reach 437 miles per hour. The same aircraft, on grade 150 fuel, exceeded 448 miles per hour.
German pilots, who respected the Mustang, were about to discover the equation had fundamentally altered.
The Bf-109G, the Luftwaffe's frontline fighter, max speed 400 miles per hour.
The Focke-Wulf 190A could reach 408 miles per hour under optimal conditions.
Against the old fuel, we could at least attempt engagement on favorable terms.
But against the new fuel, we operated at a fundamental disadvantage.
One that no amount of pilot skill or tactical cunning could overcome.
The story begins with the chemistry of octane.
Octane measures resistance to spontaneous detonation under compression. Higher octane allows higher compression ratios, meaning more power. In 1940, America produced mainly 87-octane fuel, insufficient for combat.
The British, with U.S. oil companies, developed 100-octane fuel.
The difference was immediate. Spitfires suddenly gained 30 to 40 miles per hour.
Grade 130 fuel became the backbone of Allied air power through 1943.
By 1943, U.S. refineries produced millions of gallons monthly.
German production remained bottlenecked, reliant on synthetic fuel from coal.
Germany's best C3 fuel was roughly equivalent only to Allied grade 130, and in limited supply.
Octane cannot exceed 100. Performance numbers measure how much better than pure isooctane.
Grade 150 fuel could withstand 50% more compression than 100 octane.
This required anti-knock additives, primarily tetraethyl lead.
And careful blending of aromatic hydrocarbons.
British and American researchers collaborated, sharing data. By early 1943, they had experimental batches of grade 150 fuel, dyed purple. Testing it exceeded expectations. Merlin engines could sustain 5 inches of manifold pressure.
Power jumped from 1,490 horsepower to 1,720 at war emergency power.
Flight testing confirmed. Max speed increased 25-30 miles per hour at altitude.
Climb rate improved by several hundred feet per minute. The same aircraft, just different fuel, became measurably faster.
The decision to introduce grade 150 fuel operationally was made in early 1944.
The 8th Air Force was suffering unsustainable losses on daylight bombing raids.
They needed an escort fighter that was not just long range, but blazingly fast.
In May 1944, the first operational deliveries of grade 150 arrived in England.
Distribution was carefully controlled, starting with select squadrons.
The RAF also began equipping its fighter squadrons.
Priority went to units hunting V-1s, flying around 400 miles per hour at low altitude.
Tempests and Spitfire XF-4s could barely catch the V-1s. Mustangs running grade 150 fuel had sufficient speed margin to intercept reliably.
A technique requiring exceptional speed and precision.
The first widespread combat use occurred in June 1944, over Normandy. German pilots began reporting encounters with Mustangs performing beyond previous experience.
Our pilots are tired, outnumbered. They are exaggerating.
But this assessment was fundamentally wrong.
I was shocked at the performance of American fighters late in the war.
German pilots were becoming increasingly outmatched.
Allied air superiority was growing exponentially.
The key to this advantage? Superior fuel.
High-octane fuel demanded innovation.
This fuel needs more kick.
But there were trade-offs. Tetraethyl lead was toxic.
It left deposits, increasing maintenance requirements.
American maintenance adapted quickly. More frequent spark plug changes.
New manifold pressure limits. Got to be careful not to overboost at low altitude.
She burns fuel fast at max power. Got to be careful with fuel management.
Escort missions to Berlin already pushed range to the limits.
Combat reports from summer 1944 documented the transformation.
German fighters that previously could hit and run now found themselves unable to escape.
August 6, 1944. Lieutenant Bud Nalen encountered German aces SAC.
Nalen's speed advantage proved decisive.
Got him. Just a bit. Thought I'd only damaged him. Low on fuel and ammo.
I never understood why you didn't finish me. Your Mustang was unbelievably fast. The psychological effect on Luftwaffe pilots was significant.
Outnumbered, they now faced fighters with seemingly unlimited performance.
But there were trade-offs. Tetraethyl lead was toxic.
It left deposits, increasing maintenance requirements.
American maintenance adapted quickly. More frequent spark plug changes. New manifold pressure limits. Careful not to overboost at low altitude.
She burns fuel fast at max power. Careful fuel management is key.
The mission was a success. We encountered minimal resistance.
But there were trade-offs. Tetraethyl lead was toxic.
It left deposits, increasing maintenance requirements.
American maintenance adapted quickly. More frequent spark plug changes.
New manifold pressure limits, huh? Gotta be careful not to overboost at low altitude.
She burns fuel fast at max power. Gotta manage this carefully.
Aircraft required no modifications. The engines were compatible.
Production statistics tell a story of industrial mobilization.
American industrial capacity seemed almost miraculous.
Fueled by vast resources, a safe homeland, and a dedicated workforce.
Pilots received training on updated engine operating procedures.
Aircraft required no modifications. The engines were compatible.
Production statistics tell a story of industrial mobilization.
American industrial capacity seemed almost miraculous.
Fueled by vast resources, a safe homeland, and a dedicated workforce.
Burning too much fuel might mean not making it back to base.
We could use full power when needed, confident in our fuel reserves.
Luftwaffe pilots flew knowing every sortie might be their last, due to fuel.
Allied pilots flew with confidence born from material superiority.
The story of Grade 150 fuel is a story about industrial warfare.
Pilots received training on updated engine operating procedures.
Aircraft required no modifications. The engines were compatible.
Production statistics tell a story of industrial mobilization. American industrial capacity seemed almost miraculous. Fueled by vast resources, a safe homeland, and a dedicated workforce.
Pilots received training on updated engine operating procedures.
Aircraft required no modifications. The engines were compatible.
Production statistics tell a story of industrial mobilization.
American industrial capacity seemed almost miraculous. Fueled by vast resources, a safe homeland, and a dedicated workforce.
All right, pilots, pay attention. We've got updated engine operating procedures to go over.
The aircraft required no modifications. The engines were compatible.
Production statistics tell a story of industrial mobilization.
American industrial capacity seemed almost miraculous.
Fueled by vast resources, a safe homeland, and a dedicated workforce.